Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So, I run into this issue, right, where there are small tips that I pick up in the game, little optimizations that I do, but they're not big enough to really fit in a video of their own. So, I've decided that from time to time, I'll do a compilation video covering a bunch of quick tips, some of which you mightn't know. Today I've got 3 in-game tips and then 3 add-on recommendations. It's the kind of thing where if you're a super dedicated player, you might know about most of this stuff, but for a lot of people, it's the first time that they'll hear about it, so, I figure that's a good thing. And we're going to start off with the bear Tartar. Now, I'm not a big fan of Tartar in real life, not at all, but it is pretty damn sweet in Legion. This shit's amazing. While it won't give you insane stats, this is food that will cause you to run at the same speed as a speed potion for a few seconds after killing an enemy. Now, this is super nice to have on when you're out in the world, but it's even better when you're soloing old content. If you're trying to go through an old raid or something like that, you can just sprint through the whole thing. It procs off mobs that are lower level than yourself, and even better, there's no internal cooldown, so as long as you keep killing things, you will maintain that speed boost. Really good if you can cast while moving. This is one of my favorite things in the game, and it's totally worth checking out. Next, we've got the Stone Hide Leather Barding. This thing is great. A lot of people have talked about it, and it was in my my video about res sickness, where, by the way, I was saying I didn't like the buff. I like corpse running. I think that's a really good theme of, like, WoW. But anyway, back to things. A lot of people said, look, whatever, I think dazing shouldn't be a thing in the game. Well, I think dazing actually does kind of make sense in some ways, but the Stonehide Leather Barding will let you get around it. This is a leather-working item. It prevents you from being dazed while you're mounted for 2 hours, or 8 hours if you're a leather worker. My main's a leather worker, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's pretty cheap. It only costs 25 Stonehide Leather. You don't need to be a leather worker to use it. And yeah, it's just a really handy little quality of life increase. We've also next got the Brulfist Idol. This used to be great for jumping really high so you could use the glider, but then they nerfed it, which is a bit sad. However, the item is still super useful. It will cancel any falling damage, a bit similar to a Hunter's Disengage, so if you are playing a class without a way to escape fall damage, or a class for whom escaping falling damage, involves blowing a super long cooldown, then this item kind of has you sorted. So that's my 3 in-game tips. We now have some add-ons. The first one is World Quest Group Finder. This thing, it rocks. As soon as you enter a World Quest area, it will put you in a group to do that World Quest. If no group exists, then it will make a group for you, with you being the leader. Since progress is shared with group members, this just, it really does decrease the amount of time that you spend doing world quests. It's such a time saver. I absolutely love it. The add-on's more useful when more people are using it, so I really do recommend giving it a go. And finally, we've got Gotta Go Fast. This add-on's great. Basically, it is a more informative Mythic timer than the Blizzard UI. It also records your times, which basically will let you compare your current splits to your past ones. I really like how this kind of adds a speedrun element to the Mythic Plus gameplay. It shows you timers for the +2 and +3 chests as well, which can be super useful. It's just better than the default UI. I see no reason not to use it. And that's basically it for the video. Just 6 pretty damn quick tips that hopefully at least a few of them will be things that you find interesting. So that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to be notified for more, hit subscribe. And if you really want to be notified, hit the little bell button. That will actually properly subscribe you, because YouTube's weird. Anyway, let's do some Q&A. And today I'm going to get through a few non-World of Warcraft Q&A questions, and a lot of them to do with YouTubing as well, so that could be useful for some of you. We've got a question from Apoxosis, who says, how do you set up your videos for professional quality, mainly sound? I have so many issues with background noise, my mic picks up so much mouth stuff. Can you do a short video on getting professional sound quality? Well, I think it's easy to do this in a Q&A. First of all, I use a good microphone. It is an Electro Voice RE20 that goes into a Scarlett 2i2. That's a kind of expensive setup. You can, get, say, an Audio-Technica AT2020 or something like that. That's a lot cheaper. So get decent quality sound, use a pop filter. Right now I'm not, because I've got this really weird setup that's not perfect for doing camera stuff, so I need to improve that. Yeah, so get a good recording first. Then what you want to do is do whatever EQ on your voice to, that you want. But what I do that eliminates mouth noise and things like that is I apply a pretty, sort of a smooth voice gate. So basically, any noise under, I think it's about 30 whatever decibels gets kind of smooshed down a little bit, and that covers a lot of mouth noise. And, you know, when you think about radio people and stuff like that, you think, wow, how do they have such clean mouths that make no noise? Not the case at all. They're just using a compressor or a noise gate or something like that to get rid of the undesirable elements of their audio. We then have a question from Fat Boys Are Us, who says, do you read from a script for your videos, or do you just do it from the top of your head? For me, it's really a mix of both. First of all, every video does get a script, but I sort of allow myself to go off script, and then I clean that up in editing, so it kind of gives me, I think, the best of both worlds. The reason why I really do like using a script, though, is I think it lets you present the most pure form of your thoughts. A lot of people would say, well, what comes off the top of your head is that. Well, what comes off the top of your head often isn't the stuff that's had the most thought applied to it. I think it's a lot better to really, you know, pick and choose your words, really think about them, and, you know, really nail down to the essence of what you actually mean, and then put that on paper and, you know, learn to read from that. And then, you know, use that as a jumping off point. So if you want to make a point that's spur of the moment in the video, go ahead and feel free to make that, as long as you just kind of have this, like, base document that's kind of keeping you rooted in your argument and whatever the point is. That's just my way of making videos. What I like about it is it keeps things concise. I think it makes it easier to understand from a viewer's perspective as well, because, you know, obviously I've chosen my words so that they can be understood. Now, sometimes what happens, you know, is that you've been so, like, caught up in your, like, way of scripting something that you maybe haven't thought of how, you know, some words actually sound to people. That is one problem that you can kind of arise, or, you know, run into when doing scripted content. And that's really just something that you live and learn, and you kind of work out the right way to do it is. The other thing about scripted content is, for a lot of people, they sound really boring when they're reading it off. Like, I think that's just the kind of a video making skill that's super important to learn over time, and the best way to learn is just to script a video and record it. And if you're not happy with the recording, wait until tomorrow, record it again, and just really try to nail down that format for yourself. But anyway, guys, that's it. Some YouTubing, like, post-production questions. I think it's good to talk about that stuff, because hopefully it can help some people make cool content. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.